First up is Anna.
No more for me, thanks. I'm driving. No more for me, thanks. I'm driving. No more for me, thanks. I'm driving.
So, yeah, this one turned out really well. I think I like that he has sort of this drunken look to his eyelids where they're kind of uneven. I think that the head movements really add a lot. In some ways, the head movements do as much to make the lip sync believable as the lips themselves, which is where you can do some of those parodies that they have. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the series Bad Lip Reading on YouTube, which is really funny, but they'll take videos and check it out if you're interested. Bad lip reading, but they overdub them, and it works because it's not just the lips moving, it's just the timing of the kind of body and face and everything together that makes it believable. Anyway, yeah, it's good. I think you've got a lot going on. You could maybe have done a little bit more with the eyebrows. Maybe have him start, when his eyes get wide there, maybe they could go up, so maybe they were lower before. But I think the timing of the lips is really good and believable, and the head movements are good, so nice job. Next up is George.
You want that gun? Pick it up. I wish you would. You want that gun? Pick it up. I wish you would. You want that gun? Pick it up. I wish you would.
So yeah, good quote, and I think overall this is good. You got some blinks in there, you got some eyebrow movement, the head tilt. I feel like the head tilts look a little bit kind of robotic. Maybe they're just sort of, the timing is sort of so even and symmetrical, that kind of left tilt and that right tilt. So, and then it starts out so perfectly straight and ends up so perfectly straight. And so I think getting a little bit more subtlety there. You could also do more with the pose, like twisting the shoulders and the hips, maybe having the shoulders at a slight angle, so that's not so perfectly squared off. I think a few of those kind of subtle changes would help out. But I think the lip sync is good. I mean, I thought it was believable. I think we should take a look at the rig and see if we can get that to stop penetrating. That's just a weighting issue. So if you want to send me a file with your rig in it, we can take a look at that. I think what's going on is that the neck has too much influence on those points. It probably should have no influence on those points. So we just need to remove the influence from the neck or head off those points. And I'm happy to help with that if you send me the file. But I think as far as the animation you've done, I think it looks good. But just maybe a little more asymmetrical of a pose to start with, and then the movements and the neck movements themselves could be a little, a little less evenly paced and a little less evenly positioned. But good work. Next up is Melissa.
Happy trails, Hans. Happy trails, Hans.
Good.
Happy trails, Hans.
I had to actually look up what movie this was from. For those of you interested, it's Die Hard. I didn't recognize it. It's good. I think it's good. I think listen to the sound with one more time. I feel like his lips are a little late.
Happy trails, Hans. Happy trails, Hans.
Yeah. So what you could do is you could select all the keyframes of the lip sync and drag them to the left 1 or 2 frames and see if that looks like it lines up better. One thing to know is that you will actually make the mouth shape just before you make the sound. So if you think about making the ooh sound, for example, your lips kind of form that ooh shape before the ooh comes out of your mouth. So sometimes if it seems like it's exactly on time, it's actually a tiny bit late because of that. But yeah, I like the head movement.
Happy trails, Hans.
I think that he looks really frozen up to them. So up until then, so to take this to the next level, you could have a little bit of body motion and maybe a little bit less of a very symmetrical pose to start out with. Maybe a little bit of angle to the shoulders, or have an arm resting on something, And I think that it's good that you have the head movement at the end, but maybe just a little bit of head movement at the beginning so it doesn't look so frozen. But yeah, overall good work. Next up is Clyde.
Kind of taking a liking to it, so I'm going to rule Earth. Kind of taking a liking to it, so I'm going to rule Earth. Kind of taking a liking to it, so I'm going to rule Earth. Kind of
So yeah, really good quote. I like some of the subtle stuff, like you actually did some tongue animation in there, which I was kind of impressed by because you don't see much of the tongue really. So I thought that was good. I feel like we're missing a few sounds. Now you can't make a movement for every sound, especially when someone's talking quickly, because it just looks like too jumpy. But let's watch this again.
kind of taking a liking to it, so I'm going to rule Earth. Kind of taking a liking to it, so I'm going
I think somewhere around the liking to it so area. Liking to it so. I think you need maybe one or two more mouth
kind of
movements.
taking a liking to it, so I'm going
See, it looks a little like you're missing a few movements there. So I would get a little bit more going on there.
kind of taking a liking to it, so I'm going to rule Earth.
I like the kind of angrier eyebrows at the end when he decides he wants to rule Earth. Yeah, funny quote and good head movements. I think you've done a nice job. Maybe a little bit more mouth movements and
Kind of taking a liking to it, so
maybe a little head jerk at the end. He has very slow movements of his head throughout, and maybe when he decides, that moment that he says he's going to rule Earth, little pop in the head, like a little sudden, very subtle but quick move upwards or something, might be a nice touch too. Good job on this though. Okay, next up is Jamin.
Whatever comes out of these gates, we've got a better chance of survival if we work together. Do you understand? Whatever comes out of these gates, we've got a better chance of survival if we work together.
Okay.
Do you
So, yeah, it's good that you got the lips and the eyelids and the head moving. I think that everything has a bit of this kind of slow, kind of much too slow pace. So, just for example, starting with the eyelids, look how slow the eyelids open. Now, actually, if you even try to do that, it's almost hard to do. But in this intense moment where, I mean, this is, I believe, a scene from Gladiator, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, it's like obvious, he's talking about life and death, so it's a serious moment, and that has like that slow eyelid movement has sort of a sleepy feel to it. So I would definitely speed that up. Same with the head movement; it's a very slow, long, even thing, and I would try to do just a few kind of head movements. Head doesn't have to be moving the whole time. In fact, it's good if it kind of moves a little bit and stops, moves a little bit and stops. So I would do a few quick head movements to sort of punctuate some of what he's saying. We'll have a better chance of survival, if we it's like pick a couple words that you want to almost punctuate with a little bit of head movement can be a good work. And then if you look at the lip sync, let's just watch this with sound again.
Whatever comes out of these gates, we've got a better chance of survival if we work together.
So to some extent, it's a little bit hard to tell the timing of it because at least some of the sounds might start at the right time, but they don't kind of go to the next one quickly enough because you'll have a movement start, but it's so slow, and the pace of his words are pretty quick, but the pace of his mouth movement is very slow. So you'll definitely need to speed that up. So kind of if I had to pick one overall thing, is you need to speed everything up. Everything just feels too slow and too smooth, especially for the mood of the piece and for the cadence of his speaking. But you got the basic movement there, but I just think you can improve the timing. Okay, next up is Anna.
What would you do with a brain if you had one? What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Okay, so I like that there's some head movement, and I like that the first head movement's slow and it's contrasted with the quicker one at the end. I think you have an opportunity to do a little eyebrow movement, kind of in timing with some of what she's saying. I think would help. It's good that you got a couple blinks in there. Those are nice. I think that the main thing is that it looks like you're only using one of the mouth controllers, and that's making it look very much like a kind of like a very simple hand puppet sort of thing, like a marionette. Whereas what you want to do is mix those up, like the W on what, for example, is really like the oo shape, like the round O shape. What if you kind of stretch out? If you write the word W W W W W W W on a piece of paper, what you should really get is ooh. It just sounds like ooh. Just right. If you wrote O O O, it's kind of the same thing. So that's the shape of the mouth when you're starting what. What the W is like an O sound, very quickly followed by another vowel. So that's just one example of where you could use a different mouth shape than just the open close open close open close. So that's the main improvement here. I think your timing is very good. I think you just need to use more of the shapes so it doesn't have that sort of marionette open close look to the mouth movement. Okay, good work. Okay, next up is Deontay.
I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
All right, good work.
I know what you're
Classic
thinking.
film, Dirty Harry. Good choice. And I think that it's good that you have head movement on there. I think that I might try to go smaller, particularly on that nod. The nod just looks very big to me. So if you just did smaller nods, I think that would be more kind of believable just for the mood and tone of the speech. Yeah, it's good you've got some blinks in there. I think there's an opportunity to do some eyebrow stuff as well. I thought the timing of the lips was pretty good, pretty believable. Let's watch it one more time.
Only 5. I know what you're thinking.
I think that it could end a little bit quicker here on thinking,
I know what you're thinking.
because it kind of keeps moving after he finishes that word.
Did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
And the other thing is maybe picking a few sounds to really hit more extremely. The ones, like the F of fix, and let's watch that
Did he
again.
fire 6 shots or only
6, I mean. Did he fire? I mean, F of
Did he
fire.
fire 6
Shots.
or only 5?
And like O of only, just picking a few ones to really kind of mark as more noticeable, to kind of punctuate those sounds in a sense could help. So maybe the F of fire and the O of only, especially because he kind of holds that. If you can get more of an O shape of the mouth, that would be better. But overall, I think this is really good work. Next up is Jersey.
Come on, how long does it take to get into my own house? Come on, how long does it take to get into my own house? Come on, how long does it take to get into my own house?
So this is looking really good. I think that the eyebrows really add a lot of emotion. It looks like even I mean, I don't know if I'm kidding myself here, but somehow it looks like even the angle of the eyelid looks slightly angry to me if I kind of cover up the eyebrows. The eyelids even look like they could be angry too, but maybe that's just the effect of the eyebrows, I'm not sure. But either way, that works really well. I think the head movement is good. Let's turn the volume on again.
Come on, how long does it take to get into my own house? Come on, how long does it take to get
I think if you could hit take a little harder, a little quicker movement on the take when he does the A of take, a quick opening there.
into my own house? Come on, how long does it take to get into my own house?
Overall, I think it's good. And
Come on, how long does it take to get into my own house?
I think that for the head movement, if you could, let me turn the volume off again. For the head movement, if you could, I think it's good that you've got movement and it goes with the talking, but try to like hit a pose and hold it, and hit a pose and hold it, rather than the constant non-stop movement. I think you'll like that better. Like hit a position, hold it for a moment, hit another position, hold it for a moment. You can have slightly moving holds where it's held but it's not completely frozen, but it's good to kind of, and if you look how people talk, that's more realistic. They tilt their head in one position and they move it. They're not just sort of constantly moving. So that's where I can see to improve it, but overall it's very good.